There is something called the covenant of rest. It is not the absence of war, it is the presence of peace. See, it's one thing to be in the midst of war, it's another thing for war to be in the midst of you. I'm talking to you about a series titled, It's My Season of Rest. It's my season of rest. And particularly, I'm talking to you today about rest from wars. Rest from wars. It's important to know that your family cannot do so much if your family spends all of her time fighting battles. And I want to let you know as an individual also, that if all you spend your life doing is fighting and fighting and fighting, the challenges you will not build. If by mercy you build, you will not build as much as you should. David built. Don't forget that David built Zion. Right? It's just that David did not end up building his utmost desire, which was the house of the Lord. Why? He fought too many battles in his lifetime. Battle is a distraction. Warfares are distractions. In actual fact, the reason the enemy surrounds you with battle is so that you will not focus on greatness. If there's anybody under the sound of my voice here, and you notice in your life there's so much battles to fight, battles to get married, you know, listen, sir, there are some of us, everything is battle. It was battle to enter primary school, battle to finish, battle to get admission to secondary school, battle to finish secondary school, battle to get jam, battle to pass, battle to enter the university, battle again to finish university, battle to get where to serve. Life has just been a series of battles. And please, if you're in that kind of situation, I want you to notice what happens. If you fight too many battles like that in your lifetime, what you would have noticed by now is that your peers will have gone ahead of you. There's something about battles, it keeps you distracted. Instead of building, you will be fighting. Doing night vigils, warfare night vigils, binding forces of darkness in the night. There is nothing wrong with that. There are times when you need to do that. But if your life is perpetually in that mode, what's going to happen is that the nights you should have spent actually using to plan, to pray through ideas and concepts, you're going to spend those nights praying, binding and fighting and all that, and somebody else is praying using that same night to break into realms of concepts, ideas and solutions. I will never forget what set me free. I think it should be around 1998 or 99, I can't remember now. When I heard somebody said, you don't have to fight all the time. He said, why don't you enter into the covenant of rest? Which one is covenant of rest? He said that was what God gave Solomon. He said God gave Solomon so much rest that Solomon didn't know what to do with it. See, because please don't blame Solomon until you've experienced what he has experienced. I know we all, oh Solomon, bad boy. Don't blame him until you've experienced what he's experienced. You know, it's easy to blame anybody that is a governor when you have not become one. It's easy to blame a president, particularly of a country like one of the African countries like Nigeria. You know, it's easy to blame the president there when you've not become one. You know, it's easy to blame a pastor. Oh, pastor should have. Come on, your own family, just your own. You only have 2 children, 2. You are losing your mind over 2 children. Consider the fact that you are also one of the children in the church. I remember that it was difficult, only you. It was difficult for your parents to handle you. Now a pastor has to handle you and people like you. So someone said to me, say, Sam, there is something called the covenant of rest. 99, 2000 and 2001 were the peak of battles in my life. The peak of battles. And I got to understand that this covenant of rest is something you can enter. So I took time to study Solomon. And I said, Lord, I just want to log into the covenant of rest. It is not the absence of war, it is the presence of peace. See, it's one thing to be in the midst of war. It's another thing for war to be in the midst of you. Can I say it again? It's one thing for you to be in the midst of war. It's another thing for war to be on the inside of you. See, there's nothing wrong with a ship being inside the water. There's something wrong when the water gets inside the ship. Let me give you an analogy so that you can understand what peace is. Peace is a massive ship going through the waters, but not having the waters come on the inside of it. The waves of the sea will beat the ship, but it will get to its destination. It's amazing to know that when you see some of those cruise liners, how many of you have seen cruise liners? Eh? You don't know cruise liner? Let me touch your neighbors. You don't know cruise liner? So cruise liners are those massive ships that you see, like the Titanic, right? How many of you have watched the Titanic? Those are cruise liners. They are all over the world, from Italy down to some European countries, from America, the coastal region of America, Miami, down to Hawaii and the rest of that. You have all those cruise liners whereby, you know, you have swimming pools on a ship. You have lawn tennis playing fields on a ship. You have disco halls on a ship. You have cinemas on a ship. You have first class cabins on a ship, whereby you are in your own suite on a ship. Here's rest. Here's rest. Looking at a ship, such that you can be sleeping. There's storm outside, you don't even know. There's a wave, there are waves around you in the waters, but you don't know. That is rest. That when many are saying there's a casting down, you will say there's a lifting up. I just want this to get into your spirit. That when many are saying they are poor, you will just simply say, I don't even understand what you're talking about. It's not because it is not the reality in the community, it's not your reality. Somebody is going to pray for rest today. A family is going to pray for rest. That when many are talking about divorce, the kind of union between you and your wife is such that you're even saying, what is wrong with them? It's called rest. But let me tell you what war is. War is when you have the waves of the sea beating the ship, but not only beating the ship, beating into the ship. So what happens around you is not as important as what happens within you. It says in this world you will have what, sir? Tribulations. It said, but be of what, sir? Good cheer, for I have overcome the world. It said, peace I give unto you, not as the world has. It said, you have the peace that I give. Another word for peace is rest. It's a gift. Why am I even talking about this subject? Because I've come to realize you will not be creative, productive, innovative, disruptive. All this 21st century language, how do you come up with solutions when you are even thinking of how to settle your mind? Your mind is in chaos. How do you create solution for me when you are in a chaos yourself? Pastor Sam, why don't you preach about prosperity? Here's the point. You will prosper only to the extent to which your products, your services and solutions are consumed. Your wealth is in the maximum number of people who consume your product. You are not hearing what I'm saying now. Who consumes your product will decide your income. Can I say that again, sir? Who consumes your product will determine your income. If you like, shake your head from now to tomorrow, you will come back to what I'm telling you. If the president's wife decides to patronize your salon, how many of you are into hairdressing here? Anybody in hairdressing? There's somebody over there. God bless you. Huh. Any other person? You too? How would you feel if the wife of the president chooses to be coming to your salon? Don't you think you can even shut down the salon just because of her alone? I want to open your eyes to some things. Many of us are looking for money, and I'm asking you a question. What kind of service are you rendering? 2, what kind of products are you offering? What kind of solution are you providing? All right? So let's assume you have product, you have solution, you have services. Let's assume so. Huh? For those of you who are singing, so you're singing, right? So your songs. All right, sir. The question is, who is this song going to render service to? Because it's one thing to sing a song without asking yourself, what do I intend to accomplish with it? So once you decide your product, services, and solutions, once you decide that, the next thing is who will consume it. It's either quality or quantity. If you've been to our market, like Wuse Market in Nigeria, Abuja here, if you've been to the market, my wife and I went to pick up some furniture or something. I can't remember what we went to pick up some times ago. And I saw a place where people were gathered. I mean, people gathered in the shop. And I said to my wife, what are they doing there? I said, that's where... Can't you look at them, big girls? I'm talking about fair complexion girls, big women. Everybody bending down. You know what that means in Nigeria? We call it bend down, and it's called bend down boutique. There's no need to stand when you can bend. And when you pick it up, they call it first grade. Sorry, is that? First grade, right? They pick up the first grade and they wear it to church. Accessorize it. And make you think, because it carries Gucci, they will make, the way they will wear the Gucci is actually bent down as a leg. The way they will wear it, you would think they bought it from Spain, from England, or from the company. That's where they were, and there were so many. How much are the clothes? Very cheap. Then you go to a proper Gucci shop, and then you find few people. There are not as many as those people. Maybe you saw 100 here. You go to a proper Gucci shop, and you may just see 5 people or 10. See, the transaction of 1 or 2 may settle the entire payment for what these hundreds of people have gathered to do in that shop. See, there's a way to make money from quantity, and then there's a way to make money from quality. Am I talking to somebody in the house of God here? So who do you want to consume your songs? Who do you want to buy your books? Who do you want to consume your service? There's a product for all, and the same product can be for some. It depends on how you package it. Songs are songs. But listen, when you're listening to classicals, anybody know classical music? Where's she? Where's our classical sister? Mrs. Joe. The lady that led us in singing today, that's jazz, right? Now, have you ever seen where they are playing jazz in Mararaba? No, sorry, just imagine in a poverty-stricken community, all right? Or in an impoverished community where you now see people. Have you noticed that when you talk about music that come from Obalende, I mean, what? Sir? Mushi? See, you can sense the nature of the environment from the song. Ajegule. Anybody remember that Ijoki? Eh? Galala. Eh? So there are some AJs here. Put it, please. Can you play that? Play a little bit of jazz for me. Just play jazz like you play in a hotel. Have you been to the hotel? You've been to the hotel. Come and play, boy. I need to hear some jazz stuff, my friend. Take it up. Take it up a bit. You hear this kind of things? Like Mickey Mouse. Let me ask you a question. If you are going through serious problem, how can something like this help you? It's too baby rubbish. So how many of you play this kind of things? Even some of you watching me around there, Pastor, no let us sleep. Oh. No let us sleep. We'll soon sleep. Oh. So watch this carefully. When you get into the hotels, 5-star hotels, you hear things like this playing in the background. They chose this. And not that is okay. They don't play that one there. May God open your eyes to what I'm saying. See, and have you noticed something here? You normally don't see this one popular. They don't pirate these ones. It's not what many consume. If you know how much a proper jazz music costs, do you know how much jazz concerts cost? It's okay, don't let me sleep, please. Do something that is working for you, please. Do something. I grew up in the barracks, please sit down. So here's the point I'm trying to make. You have to decide. Okay, let me help you so you can catch what I'm saying. Anybody know something we call spaghetti? Macaroni? Spaghetti? Yeah, anything you want to call it. Spaghetti, macaroni, pasta. Okay, so watch this carefully. What's the name of this one that Indomie? Anybody know Indomie? You know how cheap it is? Oh, it's not cheap again. It's going up now. Where rich men begin to eat it, they will jack the price up. Here's the point I want you to take note of. If you think about the products that many eat, they are usually very cheap. Does anybody know something called salmon? Salmon fish. Wave your hands. You've seen it before. Raise your hand. Wave your hand. You've seen salmon. You've eaten one. Raise your hand. God is watching you. You've eaten one. I'm not saying by faith. Sir, one of the days I went out with my wife and they were talking about the price of salmon. I say, must we eat it? It's not fish. But then you will come to realize that there is an omega-3 dimension that is present in salmon, you will not find in other fish. So you find the rich men, when they want to eat, their foods are usually very rich, but not much. Then when poor men eat, their food are usually very much, but not rich. So you go to a Amala joint, forget about the rich people that go there. Honestly, forget about that. When you go to a Amala joint, the reason you see number there is what? It's cheap, right? And all of a sudden, all the former Mr. Biggs, tantalizers, what have you noticed? Most of those restaurants, they are going down. Those who are smart among them are beginning to incorporate African food, Nigerian meals. Because who want all this? Your burger, I learned, what's their tasty fried chicken or something? Southern fries. I learned they are going back south. They're going back to South Africa. Somebody needs to tell them incorporate a bar. Amala. See, here's the point. You have to decide in your life, where will I make my money from? From quantity or from what, sir? Quality. 20 shops that sell food stuff cannot be compared with one proper oil rig. If you have one oil rig, just one. Somebody's praying for oil rig. Raise your hand. Oil rig. See. I'm opening your eyes to something. But here's where the trouble now comes. How many of you know this thing we call USSD? I'm taking you somewhere with all the questions I'm asking. How many of you know this USSD code? You want to send your money fast, right? Pim, pim, pim. You send it. You are sending how much? 1,000 naira, 10,000 naira. Is that okay? And when you send your 10,000 naira, what do you normally notice when your balance, when they come, how much left? You send 10,000. I thought it was free. I thought they were doing, I thought the bank was helping me. Be free. Send USSD code and then you send 10,000. But then you notice that the money that is taken from you is about 10,100 or 10,200, right? Here's what I want you to think about. The person who did that app, the person who created the USSD code and embedded it in the bank's transaction processes, that person took months to be able to create it. Some of them years. Is that okay? But finally they arrived at it. See, when they were pursuing the creation of that, a lot of their friends was busy making progress. And their friends will call them and say, oh, well, now this is it too. Which day this your thing go get here itself? And those who don't understand them will be mocking at them. I'm going somewhere. Eventually he comes up with a USSD code. And now, for every transaction, he is asleep. Money is going into his account. Residual income. How many people transact in a day using USSD code? One young boy is somewhere resting. Why am I taking you through all of this? I want to show you something. You cannot create products that will change your life. You cannot create solutions that will change your life and change generations. You cannot create concepts that will change lives if there's battle in your mind. Those who are their best are those who are at rest. Pray for rest so you can be at your best. Too much battles around your life. Battle with your wife, battle with your children, battle in the office, battle spiritually. Somebody is after you, somebody has killed you. It's just that you didn't die. All this stuff. Would you place your right hand on your head and say, Father, I receive rest. I'm praying for families. You can put your hands down. I'm praying for families here today. I see some of you already praying for it. I don't want to preach at you today. I feel like preaching, but I'm holding myself back because I want you to get it. Here's what I want to say to you. The most productive moments in my life began when I entered into rest. So much so, sir, that I could write 3 books in 3 months. 3 books in 3 months. And every time we print out those books, we sell out. It's the power of rest. There's something I plead with my wife. I said, sweetheart, I don't need anything. I'm not a confused man. I was very clear. I proposed to my wife on the 2nd of January 2002. I proposed to her on the 3rd of January. So she said yes on the 2nd. So on the 3rd of January, my wife and I went out for our first time out to go to a restaurant to eat so we can have a conversation. On that same day, I got Pastor Bimbo Odukoya, who happens to be working with me as my mentor. I got Pastor Bimbo Odukoya to talk to my wife, and she said, Pastor Sam, you don't even need to bring her. This woman, God will use her to bring you to greatness. Those were the words of Pastor Bimbo Odukoya. All right? So on the 4th, we had a break. On the 5th, I went to her father. There was no joke, no gimmicks, no play around. On the 5th, I went to her father. Baba, I'm interested in your daughter. And when I was entering, I came with gift. Amen? But I didn't give him. I kept it close to me. Amen. It was a very, very valuable gift, but I kept it in a bag. I went to Okbebialen. I shopped properly. Some things they have never seen in their family before. So don't tell my wife I said that too. I'm telling you, don't tell my wife I said that. Just joking. Here's the point. I kept that guy. Sit down. Thank you. I kept that bag beside me. The father was looking at me, and I said to him, I said, Baba, I'm interested in your daughter. And I said, that's why I came. And I didn't even waste time. I said, sir, I want to let you know I want to marry her. And I said, if you permit us, this is January 5th. I said, if you permit us, April, we would like to get married. And I said, Baba, I brought this for you. Baba said, yes. And he said, I even released you to get married. He said, I've made up my mind that Yoruba man will not marry my children. He said, but I bend the rule for you. Yes, it's the way favor works. Amen. All right. So and the reason why they bounce you out is because you came with nothing. Yeah. Some of you guys just go with your tie. All right. Okay. So here's the point. When I was talking to my wife, I hope this will help somebody. I told my wife, I said, sweetheart, there are only three things I want you to watch. In my being married to you until the day we will die, there are only 3 points of offense. There are only 3 things you will do that will offend me. Only 3. I said, outside of that, until we die, we will never have offense. I'm not a confused man. I'm a man who knows me. I said, number 2, there are only 2 things I am asking from you. In our marriage, only 2 things. I'm not asking you to do any other thing. If you do it, they are by your choice. So I'm not marrying you to confuse you. And I'm not marrying you so that you can be guessing, what do I do to make my husband happy? No, just 2 things. Just 2. And then I said to her, I said, in this marriage, I came to give 90%. I came to receive 10% from you. I said the 10% is tied to the 2 things I'm asking for. I'm talking about what I shared with my wife on the 3rd of January 2002. They have not changed, sir. If there's any conflict today, I'll say, remember what we said, 2002. I said, somebody's forgetting something. See, above it all, I said, ma, all I want from you, rest. Just give me peace. So if you notice at the beginning of our marriage, I will always make statements. I'll say, she will do him no evil. I'm sure you hear me saying that, I make that confession. She will do me no evil all the days of my life. So listen, sometimes when you see our pastors come out here and they say, let us appreciate the mama or the first lady or the pastor's wife for creating the environment. It's not a cliche. The truth of the matter is, if the woman is frustrating the man, it will show in his sermon. And by the way, some men have known how to quarantine themselves from a bad wife. But let him preach consistently. You will know what's happening in his family. I'm telling you that. Let a man preach consistently. You will soon pick what's going on in their family. So we have come this far because of the peace she's given me. Why am I sharing this? There are families who are praying to prosper, but you have decided not to prosper by how you are treating each other. How can your family prosper when you are making each other to be in a state of unrest? Battle between husband and wife. And you are praying for, Papa, anoint us with oil for prosperity. How are you going to maximize your destiny when there's too much battle between the two of you? Family in chaos, and yet you are praying for prosperity. As you are talking, you are not talking with your husband. You are not talking with your wife. But look at you, you are a gifted person. Haven't you wondered, why am I so gifted but I'm not happening? A house divided against itself. Koniduro. Huh? Oga eguzo. I spoke it like I was having. Huh? Some of you are not even at war with your partner, you are at war with yourself. I want to succeed. And then you will sleep. You are at war with yourself. You have a big goal, but you have a big sleep. I want to lose weight, but your mouth has no control. Talk to me now. You didn't know where I was going to today, Abi? Okay. I'm talking about war within yourself. I want to prosper. Spend money anyhow. No respect for money. You blow it as it comes. Sir, we started managing it little by little. You know us when we started, sir. Pastor, we started, you know what we do? We minimize expenses. In our church, if you remember the early days, sir, buy now, pay later, began to creep into our church. I will attack it from the pulpit. When I attack buy now, pay later, some people took offense at me. And they will buy. I will pay you later. Then they will quarrel. They'll be looking for me. Papa, come. I said, resolve what? You will resolve it yourself. I said, my wife, so, sir, 19 years till date, nobody born of a woman can tell you the OAS came to buy anything on credit from us. In this city. We lived within our means. Never stretch our hands beyond our reach. I'm a general overseer, but my son went to schools I could afford.
This is the Transforming Church International. One church making global impact.